Starting your day off with a take on Vegas you won't get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Holly Madison.
Hi, this is William Shatner.
It is Larry the Cable Guy, and I listen. Why? Because I'm a good American. So is he. And if you don't listen to him, you need to pack up and leave this country.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Come on, guys!
Oh, yeah, what's up, everybody? It is the Vegas Take Tuesday. Glad you could join us. Sharp and Shapiro. Well, right now it's just Shapiro. I don't know where Sharpie is, but it's okay because it's Tuesday. That means Pat Cassell is in studio, and boy, do we have a lot to get to today. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun show. Coming up in hour number 2, you guys hear about this storm, Area 51. Well, guess what? The creator, Maddie Roberts and Frank DiMaggio, are going to be joining us in studio. They pretty much canceled everything. They have an event coming up in here in Vegas, but nothing going to happen down there at Area 51. We are going to ask them why. Why was everything canceled? What happened? We will get to that coming up in hour number 2. I promise you, you're not going to believe the latest AB stories, and one of those happened to do with a doctor who is suing Antonio Brown for farting in his face. Folks, I am not making this up. This is a real news story. It's unbelievable. And another accuser, by the way, coming forward for sexual misconduct. How is this going to lay out, and how is this going to work for Antonio Brown and New England Patriots? Is he going to be playing this week? Well, we'll get to that. Plenty of stuff to talk about here coming up in hour number 2 and hour number 3 as well. And, of course, we'll have John Schaefer with the news coming up later this hour. I can't wait to talk some aliens, though. That's going to be a lot of fun. I promise you that. Pat, thanks for coming in, my friend. How you doing?
Pleasure. And yourself?
Is your mic not on? Turn your mic on. I don't hear you. Turn that. You got to press the little blue button there. Okay, you should be good.
How about now?
There
we
you
got
go.
action.
There you go. You got to turn your mic on. There you go. All
You
right.
know, I drove by Area 51 on the way back from Winnemucca last week.
Really?
Yes.
I've never been there before.
Not much to see.
No.
Flat. Very flat.
You talking about the lightest strip club you went to, or are you talking about what are you talking
No,
about?
that was up there.
okay.
You drive back from Winnemucca. There's not much
Well,
to see.
guess what? There might not be much to see in Area 51, but anyway, we'll get to that in hour
it's
number
underground.
2. Yes, we will talk to those guys, the creators of Storm Area 51, who canceled. We'll talk to them coming up in hour number 2. Going to be a lot of fun. I do want to get to Joe Biden because we have a lot of Joe Biden stuff to talk about. There's a lot of people, even liberals, that are saying that Joe Biden is not fit to be the president of the United States based on age, based on health. We'll play some audio for you in a little bit. But, you know, Donald Trump did another one of those campaign rallies, this time in New Mexico. Made some interesting comments, as he does in every single campaign rally. That
12,000 people, 8,000 indoors, 4,000 outside.
Well, sources are also saying that they paid people to sit in seats there. $10
I can
an hour,
tell you right now, I doubt that's the case.
Well, that's the rumor. But anyway, I really don't care about that. There could be a gazillion people there. There could be 20 people there. I care about what he says because he's the president of the United States. And he said a member of his Hispanic Advisory Council looks more like a wasp than I do. Don't really understand why he'd make a statement like that. That is bizarre at the very least. He also said, who do you love more, the country or Hispanics? Let me just stop there for a second. This is the president of the United States who is making a comment. Who do you love more, America or Hispanics? First of all, can't you love both? Second of all, why does he always have to single out a race? Why does he do that? Who do you love more, America or Hispanics? Now, of course, people who are racist or people who dislike Hispanics are going to immediately scream out America.
But New Mexico is primarily Hispanic.
50%. So why would he make a statement like that in front of a crowd like that? And why would any Hispanic stand up for it?
And that's all he said?
Using a possessive pronoun, he also says, we love our Hispanics. This is the president of the United States. I say this over and over and over again.
But a lot of people make the statement that he doesn't like Hispanics, which is not true. They say he's a racist.
But why ask a question like that? Don't you think that has racial connotations in it when he says, who do you love more, the country or Hispanics?
The way things are in the national media, we're so separated by BS that they're spewing. I guess he feels it necessary to answer questions.
You think it's okay to ask a question like that as the president of the United States? That's like saying, who do you love more, America or black people? Who do you love more, America or Jews?
So when you look at all the politicians that are saying stuff, they spew crap about 9/11, et cetera. Do you think they're right as well?
You have to be more specific than that and give me a specific statement and who said it.
Omar's statement that she got attacked by somebody who lost somebody at 9/11. And she didn't like it, but she basically said, I was attacked the day after 9/11 by American citizens because of my religious beliefs. I mean, the bottom line is
here's the difference between. Let me answer your question. Here's the difference between me and many Trump supporters. I go after Democrats. I've spent hours on end going after Omar. I don't like her. She should not be a congresswoman. I think she's a complete moron, probably an anti-Semite. She has said some horrific, insensitive things. I don't think she's a very smart woman. I think it comes down to this. I think she's a hateful person. I'm not sure she hates America, but certainly she hates Jewish people in my eyes.
What about Rashida Tlaib?
I don't know as much about her, but I also think here's another woman who did, anti-rallies towards Republicans, and I think
called the president an MFer.
Well, I think she's ignorant. I think when you look at Omar and you look at Tlaib, I think they're both ignorant women. Whether they're women or not, I don't care about.
They're ignorant politicians.
No, I think they're ignorant people.
Okay, I'll go for that, too.
I don't think they're
better in politics.
I think when you say things that they have said, whether you're a politician or not, I think you're ignorant. I don't think they're very smart people. And when you look at their history, I don't care where they're from. I don't care what the color of their skin is. Certain people certainly do. I don't. I don't like them. I don't think they're good people. As far as Ocasio-Cortez goes, I have a little bit more respect for her. I don't agree with some of the things she says. I don't think she's dumb, but I think she said some dumb things. I think there's a difference. And I think with Ocasio-Cortez, like, for example, when she said that, what's going on at the border, and she compared it to concentration camps, I vehemently disagree with that verbiage, and she continues to do it, and I think she's wrong. Look, there's a reason why the Squad, they have a very low approval rating. They should not be in Congress. Not only do they not have any experience, but they don't speak for the Democratic Party.
But they hurt the party. And if you look at
I don't disagree.
If you look at what happened last Thursday, and I'll tell you right now, it's sad to say, but it's true. Biden's health is definitely suffering. His teeth slipped last week during a debate. I didn't realize he had dentures.
Look,
he's in trouble.
I don't think Joe Biden is the best candidate to beat Donald Trump, and we're going to have Michael Avenatti on the line tomorrow. By the way, Michael Avenatti has a lot of knowledge when it comes to this Brett Kavanaugh stuff. We're going to try to have Kavanaugh's attorney to debate him on the air. Don't know if that's going to happen or not, but Michael is a staunch supporter of Joe Biden because he believes that Joe Biden has the best chance to beat Donald Trump. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Well, who do you think would have a best chance to beat him?
Well, it's not going to happen, but in a debate, I think if it was some type of bill where it was a Kamala Harris and maybe you had Pete Buttigieg as the vice president or even Elizabeth Warren, I think they'd have a better chance.
Elizabeth Warren will pick Buttigieg. I think that's going to be the ticket. Mm-hmm. If you want my opinion, right now, if I were going to bet money, I think Warren would be the number one and Buttigieg would be the vice president.
It's possible. I'm just telling you, Pat, I don't think Joe Biden is the guy to do it.
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he can keep up with Trump.
But anyway, let's go back to this New Mexico rally because, again, this is my problem with Donald Trump. 95% of the reason why I do not like Donald Trump and I would never support this man is I think he's a bad person, okay? On top of the fact, and that's nothing to do with policy, on top of the fact that, yes, I believe he says ignorant things on a daily basis. Last night is no different. When you say, who do you love more, the country or Hispanics? You're putting people against Hispanic people. And you can say, well, here's what he meant to say. I hear that about Trump supporters all the time.
I won't go there. I won't say what he meant.
But a lot of people...
What he said, the way he said it, the way he phrased it, I agree with you. It wasn't in good taste.
It's absurd. It's ridiculous.
But go back to this question. You don't like him 95% of the reason you don't like him, but...
It's a horrible person.
Okay, but you show me somebody on the left that can replace him and do the job.
Well, I just did.
Who?
I just did. I think if you had several people, Kamala Harris, Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg.
So you realize that Kamala Harris will take away your freedom of speech to some degree. She did it in California.
Listen, those three people that I mentioned, of those three, the most respect I probably have for is Pete Buttigieg. Okay, I'm not a huge Elizabeth Warren fan. I'm not even a huge fan of Kamala Harris. You asked me, who do you think you would prefer to run against him? I just gave you three names.
And those three names, which one do you think has the best specific shot?
Obviously Elizabeth Warren, when you look at the polls. I actually think...
Screw the polls. Go by your
Kamala Harris. I think in a head-to-head battle, I think she would go after him. I don't think Elizabeth Warren is capable of doing that. I know Pete Buttigieg isn't capable of doing that. You're going to have to get down and dirty. And I do believe because of her experience as a prosecutor, because of her experience, I think she's smart enough to do it. I think she can do it. Now, do I think she'd be a great president? Probably not.
I don't think she can win.
Okay, but I'm just answering your question. I think in a head-to-head debate, I think she would probably give Democrats the best chance to win. But going back to this Donald Trump stuff, and of course I want to move on to Joe Biden. But
let's go to Biden.
Okay, but again, I want to read this quote again because I think it's important. He said yesterday that, in regards to a Hispanic advisory council, he looks more like a WASP than I do. Who do you love more, the country or Hispanics? People need to understand this. Republicans need to understand this. When the president of the United States gets up there on a stage and millions of people are listening, and as you said, it was packed in there, and I don't care whether people were paid to be there or not. I don't really care about that. When you go up there on a stage and you're the president of the United States and you say, who do you love more, the country or Hispanics? And then we wonder why there is so much racial divide in this country. Then we wonder why somebody goes into a Walmart with a AR-15 and decides to kill people of that descent. Then we wonder why there's so much hate in the world, and hate crimes are up 18% since Donald Trump took office. We wonder why. Republicans need to show some guts and so show some dignity, which many have not done during this Trump administration, and say, Mr. President, you can't speak like that. That is wrong. Now,
how do you know that hasn't happened?
Look
and
at
he still does his own thing.
Look at many of the politicians on the right that speak to the media on a daily basis that refuse to denounce the words that he uses. Not all of them, but most of them do not do that. It's the same thing when it comes to, certain situations like gun control. When you have many people on the right that are not willing to talk with Democrats. Listen, I blame Democrats as well.
The Democrat message, though, here, so you and I could sit there and we could come up with a plan to curb the gun issues. We agree on a lot of these issues, right? We could work out a deal. Do you know the problem in Washington? The left and the right are in a tug of war, and they don't want to concede. They don't want to work. They don't want to come to the middle to work together.
I think it's both sides. I think it's both sides that are responsible. Yes.
I agree.
Yes, but the point I'm trying to make when people always say, "Oh, you're a Trump hater. You suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. Oh, you must be a liberal. You must be a snowflake." No, you know what I am? I'm an American that demands more of our politicians, and I certainly demand more of the President of the United States. And I am sick and tired of the division. Look, Barack Obama did not do a good job as far as bringing people together of different race and color.
Nor did Bush.
There's no doubt about that, and I would never deny that. But this takes things to a new level when the president says these things on a regular basis. Example: who do you love more, the country or Hispanics? You cannot say things like that. It is dangerous to the country. You can't talk like that. You can't say things like that. It is wrong. And we'll open up the GCI guys hotline right now if you want to be a part of this conversation. We got Pat Cassell in studio. We're going to get to Joe Biden coming up at the bottom of the hour, but the number to call if you want to be a part of the program, 702-257-5396. Again, if you want to be a part of the program, give us a buzz, 257-5396. All right, let's go to the hotline. Let's see what you guys think out there. And let's start off with Ron. Ron, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. What do you think about this?
Good morning, gentlemen. This is Ron the Patriot. I just want to make a little background comment about what you said earlier about AOC, the person. Now, that person, out of your mouth, you said that she says dumb things, okay? But she's smarter than that. Now, wait a minute. If a person says dumb things and she's smarter than that, how could she be so smart to say dumb things?
Well, here's what I'll say to that. First of all, I don't know what Ocasio-Cortez IQ is. I think she has said some dumb things. But I will say this. She is a freshman congresswoman. She has little to no experience.
That doesn't matter. We're talking about her.
In your opinion.
What she is now, it doesn't matter. We're
okay.
talking about her saying dumb things,
okay.
not her being
and
a
I just told you.
Don't slide.
Okay, well, I'm trying to answer your question, Ron.
I need an answer.
I'm trying to answer your question. You interrupted me.
I need an answer.
Well, I tried to answer your question, and you interrupted me midway.
And she's so smart. Why did she say dumb things?
Let me know when you'd like me to answer your question.
You're a psychologist. Tell me. You're so smart. Tell me why. Why is she so smart and she says dumb things?
First of all, where did I say I was ever a psychologist?
No, that's what we take you as.
That's
my personal opinion.
Well, then that's your fault, then, isn't it?
Some kind of psychologist.
Well, then that's your fault, then, isn't it?
And you won't answer my question
because you won't stop talking. You won't stop talking. How can I answer your question if you won't stop talking? With all due respect, Ron.
I don't want to hear about her being a congresswoman.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Johnny. Go ahead and pot him down. Go ahead and pot him down because he won't shut up. And I will try to answer his question. And by the way, I will psychoanalyze you, Ron. You didn't take your medication this morning, so I guess that makes me a therapist. Now I will try to answer your question, Ron, now that I potted you down. I don't know how smart Ocasio-Cortez is. What I do know is that she's accomplished a lot in her young life to get to where she is at. What I will say is I disagree with her when she made the comment about concentration camps being the same on the border. I completely disagree with that statement 150%. She is a freshman congresswoman who lacks experience.
So is Omar, and so is Tlaib.
But the difference between Omar and Tlaib is they have more consistency of saying some just awful things, terrible things on a regular basis.
I have to tell you, so does AOC's statements about the Green New Deal.
Well, that's a policy. That's policy stuff.
But she's basically making statements that the country will be destroyed in 10 years.
But, Pat, there's a fine line and a fine difference between making policy statements that you disagree with and doing what Omar and Tlaib do.
That I agree
with. There's a fine line there.
But all three are freshmen. And on top of that, she was there like 3 months and she wanted a pay raise.
Which is ridiculous. And here's my biggest issue.
$174,000 a year. You know?
My biggest issue with these women is I think they care a little bit more about their celebrity status and being out there and getting their faces out there and their voices out there. They care more about that, I think. I truly believe they care more about that than some of their policies that they're pushing. I don't like that. Now, do they suffer from narcissism? Well, I think the President of the United States is the commander of narcissism.
I agree.
Yes. But anyway, Ron, I appreciate the call. Thank you for allowing me to...
isn't it?
Thank you. Oh, absolutely. Man. Ron, thank you for letting me psychoanalyze you. I appreciate that. That was a lot of fun. Maybe I do have a job in being a therapist maybe down the road. Who knows? 257-5396 is the number to call, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Brian. Brian, what's going on?
Hi, good morning.
What's up?
I'm going to start off with saying I'm a Trump supporter, but you made me realize that, of course, the president does say some ridiculous things. Unfortunately, I see that a lot of the ridiculous things that he says, he ends up winning the crowd.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Democratic candidates feel like they're going to lose, so they got to one up saying dumb things because that's how he wins.
Well, perhaps. I mean, you're not completely wrong on that, Brian. I give Trump credit for, appealing to his base. I think the people that Trump needs to go after to win in 2020 are people in the middle, people like myself, people that are undecided. I'm undecided. Look, we all know that those people that were in that arena last night, they all are going to vote for Trump no matter what the guy says. I mean, he could use the N-word and people would probably still vote for him, sadly. This is where the country is at. I think what the Democrats need to do is, don't take cheap shots, but you have to be aggressive in going after this guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that, Brian. But you say you're a Trump supporter.
Yes, sir.
Are you white? What's your ethnicity?
No, sir, I'm Latino.
Okay, so you're Latino. So let me ask you this, Brian. You're the perfect person to ask this question. Trump said this yesterday at his rally. He said, quote, "Who do you love more, the country or Hispanics?" What do you think of that verbiage? What do you think of that, when he says something like that?
I think that's a ridiculous thing to say, but I don't really care about what the guy says. I'm more like he can say whatever he wants. I'm just focused on the policies. I just happen to agree with the policies. I think if he were to close his mouth 95% of the time, I think he'd be doing pretty good. But you know what?
I agree.
can't control his mouth.
Brian, I agree. Make no mistake about it. I agree with you, man. It's interesting to hear your perspective. There's a lot of people out there like you, Brian, that don't really care too much about what he says. You just care about policy. There's a lot of people out there going to vote for that reason, Brian. I know you're not the only one.
Brian, I got to ask you a question. This is Pat Cassell. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I think his statement was geared towards the fact that in New Mexico, they voted in Ms. Martinez as governor back-to-back because they're more concerned about the border and all those other crises. And I think what he was trying to say is, what's more important, protecting the United States or allowing illegals in from south of the border? What do you think about that?
You see, if he said illegals, I would have agreed with what he said. But when he uses a Hispanic, that can go
stupid.
many ways.
Brian, I appreciate your perspective. I'm glad we all agree that was a really dumb thing to say. Let's try to squeeze in one more phone call here at 257-539. Let's go to Angel. Angel, what's going on?
Hey, guys. How you doing
Good.
this morning?
Good morning.
What's on your mind?
Hey, so, it's interesting, all the Trump talk and, everything that, basically he's done since he's become president. I was talking to a buddy the other night, and a good way to equate what he does is you guys are familiar with wrestling, right? You remember Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what Trump does, right? He's saying F you to everybody, and, and in a way, I mean, he's doing things, and, in essence, I guess he has the balls to do things that other presidents have.
See, I don't think I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it having the balls when you say racist things. And by the way, the president.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Okay.
Definitely, the way he talks isn't presidential. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. but I think a lot of what he does is if he could tone it down and be in a respectful manner and actually fight Congress on these things.
I don't think he can.
I think that's why Americans vote for him, right? That's why the majority of people vote, because they like how he's different and he actually stands up and he does these things. A lot of the times it's disrespectful. And I mean, I voted for Trump.
I don't think that's a good difference. I think you can tell it like it is, but also respect people and not do what he did yesterday 100%. And say, who do you love more, the country or Hispanics? I don't think that's being different. I think that's just being stupid.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah,
I do think, that if we could have a president that, could stand up for us, and I mean, the Twitter thing, yeah. I mean, it doesn't really bother me because he's saying what's on his mind. If we could have a president who says what's on their mind, but they do it in a respectful way, we'd have a great country.
Yeah, I hear you, but I just don't think Donald Trump is capable of that. Angel, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Do we have time to squeeze in one more? Let's do one more real quick. Let's go to Al. Al, what's going on? Thanks for calling in.
Good morning.
What's up, Al?
How are you?
Good.
Doing well. Well, you said something just a moment ago that I found really interesting. You said Trump should be going after people like you. You're undecided.
Yes.
Are you really undecided? Meaning you're undecided on who you would vote for on the Democratic side?
On either side.
You made up your mind that you wouldn't.
On either side.
Would never vote for Trump.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Al. This is a loaded question. I want to keep you on the line if you're willing to wait on the line. We have to take a break. Would you like to stay on hold, and I will give you a very thoughtful answer. How does that sound?
Sounds fantastic.
All right. Thank you, Al. Thank you for your patience. Wait on hold. Pat Cassell in studio. That is a very valid question he asked, and I am going to give a very, very, very honest answer when we come back. We're also going to have the news with John Schaefer. Take a quick break. Be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take. All right. Welcome back. It is The Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. Pat Cassell in studio is our special guest today as well. We will get to all the news of the day with John Schaefer coming up here in just a few minutes. Also, if you want to have pizza with Mayor Pete, well, if you donate $1 to his campaign, you might be able to do that. Boy, is he getting desperate. We'll get to all the news of the day. And, of course, the founder of Storm Area 51, who canceled the event, will be in studio next hour. We'll ask him why. But I wanted to keep Al on the line because Al called in last segment, and Al asked me a very, very, I think, fair question. And, Al, I appreciate your patience. Are you still there?
I am. Thank you.
Okay, so Al, yeah, sure. Why don't you repeat that question again for our listeners that maybe didn't hear it, and then I'll give you the best answer.
Okay, sounds good. Earlier when you were chatting with another caller, you said that Trump should be targeting undecided voters
right,
instead of using some of this language and rhetoric that he's using.
Right.
And that he should be targeting folks like yourself.
Correct.
Because you were undecided.
Yes, that is correct. Okay. Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so you're wondering, your question is, who would I vote for? And well, I'm going to be honest with you, Al. Let me start with this. In a scenario where Joe Biden runs against Donald Trump, there's a chance I would vote for Donald Trump for this reason and this reason alone. And some people might think it's ridiculous, but I got to tell you something. He gives me something to talk about every day. He's definitely entertaining. I don't think he's very good for the country, but he's entertaining, and he gives us topics. He's like my second producer here at the station. I don't like Joe Biden. I respect Joe Biden. There's a difference between not thinking he could be a good president and respecting him. I respect Joe Biden. I could never vote for the man. I mean, I just couldn't.
Well, let me first say, I'm shocked by your answer and your candor. I never thought I'd hear you say that there's actually a pathway for you to vote for Donald Trump.
Well, yeah.
Just based on what I hear on the radio with you guys.
Well, I can't stand the guy. I think he's a piece of garbage. But I would never say that about Joe Biden. But there's no way I'm not saying Donald Trump's fit to be president either. In my opinion, he's not. But I would never vote for Joe Biden. I just don't.
You're saying that that would be the lesser of two evils for you.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't do that last election.
He's saying it would be the lesser of two incompetencies.
I didn't, not necessarily. I wouldn't say it's incompetence. The reason why I don't like Donald Trump, but listen, I'll go back to Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I didn't vote for either of them. I did not vote for the lesser of two evils. I might do that this time, but there are, Al, if you're wondering who I would vote for, there are some people on the left that I like. Now, I think a few of them have absolutely zero chance. For example, Pete Buttigieg. I would absolutely vote for him over Donald Trump. Number one, I think he's a good man. Number two, I think he's extremely intelligent. I'm not a huge fan of Kamala Harris, but I would vote for her over Donald Trump. I struggle with Elizabeth Warren, and it seems like every day moving forward, it seems like Elizabeth Warren might eventually be the front runner over Joe Biden. I don't know what I would do at this point. If it was Elizabeth Warren and Donald Trump, I just don't know.
Well, I think that's kind of how this election's heading, shaping up really like the last one.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
That's what happened. I think folks, and I will include myself in this group, couldn't see a way to vote for Hillary Clinton.
Agreed.
Just couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, no, and I understand.
Right.
I was the same way. But Al, it's these comments over and over again that drive me nuts. Yesterday, when Trump says
non-presidential, I will agree with
who do you love more, who do you love more, the country or Hispanics? In this day and age, when we have so much racial divide, and we've got all these mass shootings and these nut jobs, do we really need more hatred in the world? This is the president of the United States, man, and it's comments like that make me think maybe I just wouldn't vote at all if it was Joe Biden versus Trump, and I don't know.
Well, I agree with you. It would be fantastic if we had someone. I agree with a lot of the policy.
Right.
If he was a blend of who I think was one of the greatest articulated his language and his speech better than any other president, Barack Obama. I didn't agree with almost anything he did, but he was
the problem with Obama
polished,
is he was lying to you half the time.
Absolutely.
But policy-wise, I couldn't get on board. But if we had somebody with his polish and these policies,
right. Well, one thing I've always said, you're right, Al.
We'd have the golden ticket.
You're right, Al, and I appreciate the phone call.
One other thing about telling it like it is to people is that they take it as they're not being lied to. They're being told the truth. Someone's being honest with them.
Obama didn't lie half the time. Why do you say that?
Obama, he was a brilliant orator. But he was. I mean,
what do you mean he lied half the time? Does that mean Trump lies 100% of the time?
Trump doesn't lie at all.
Trump
that's
not.
ridiculous.
He doesn't lie 100% of the time.
How about we're going to build a wall and Mexico's going to pay for it? He campaigned on that.
Right now. Are they not supporting us with the troops?
How about the first day he was in office when he gloated about how it was the biggest inauguration and the biggest crowds ever? You don't think Donald Trump lies?
That's narcissism. That's not a lie. He's whacked. But I'm going to tell you right now what he's accomplished.
What about Alabama? What about the hurricane? When he said the hurricane was going to, he knew he screwed up, and then he took a Sharpie marker. That's not a lie.
That was
how could you say, Pat,
ridiculous.
with all due respect?
But how's that?
Come on, man.
That's not even news.
He can't predict.
That's a lie. Don't tell me he doesn't lie. Let's go back to the phone calls. That's not even worth arguing over. Let's go back to the phone calls. You can't say he doesn't lie. Let's go to Anthony. Anthony, what's going on?
What's up, Anthony?
Good morning, gentlemen.
You're laughing, huh, Anthony?
Yeah, great conversation. It is shocking to me. I don't understand how anybody can continue to support Donald Trump, even based on these absolutely absurd policies. I mean, his deregulation is only for banks. He has not deregulated anything that affects us as average Americans.
Right.
I paid more in taxes this year, and I'm going to pay more in taxes now going forward.
Is your income going up or going down?
My income is not going up.
My business is up 70% since he got elected. That's a fact.
No.
It has. I can tell you my taxes.
Look. My premiums on healthcare, those are going up.
No. Hold on. You're right in my wheelhouse. Do you know since he got elected, the rates have not risen nearly as much? In fact, this year they're more stable than they've ever been. In fact, you may see certain carriers not have any rate increases.
Okay, but we could talk about that ad nauseum. But the bottom line is there are many Americans that are having to work two jobs right now.
But who adopted the Affordable Care Act?
I'm not blaming everything on Donald Trump.
I'm going to blame that on the Democrats because they said we got to pass this law to find out what's in it. And guess what? Rates are 400% higher. We have the highest premiums in the United States in the history of the world.
But Anthony, tell us.
With all due respect,
go ahead.
I work in healthcare. I've seen lives actually saved from the Affordable Care. I've seen people with cancer that now have ability to
I had a client die because of the Affordable Care Act because they couldn't get him in the system.
So I think this is, again, he had an economy going at 2% strong. Now it's going at 2.5.
You're right.
It wasn't going at 2%. It was going at 1.5 under Obama. That's a fact.
No, 2%.
No, it was 1.5 on the average during his tenure.
All right, well, we're talking semantics. 1.5, 2%.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And under Trump, on the average, it's about 2.7, 2.8.
The bottom line is, like me, Anthony is fed up. Anthony, I want to put words in your mouth.
But there's nobody on the left you can vote for. They're all morons.
Well, that's not true. Completely not true.
That's true.
Excuse me.
They want to take away your rights.
Excuse me. Pete Buttigieg does not want to take your rights away as a human being. He is a decent man and he's a smart person. He's not a moron. Say what you want about Elizabeth Warren.
Wait a minute.
She's not a moron.
I didn't say he was but he is.
You just said all the Democrats are morons.
They're all progressive.
Just like
they want to raise taxes to 70%.
Thank you for the call, Anthony. Just like Donald Trump, Pat. I'm just going by the words and the verbiage that you use. You can't say all the Democrats are morons. That's a ridiculous statement.
Everyone on the stage last week It was like watching.
Listen,
It was like watching a cartoon.
I know, Pat. But when you say all Democrats are morons, hold on.
Running for president.
Hold on. When you say all Democrats are
all
morons,
Democratic candidates are
Right,
morons.
there you go. Let me rephrase that.
Okay, hold on. Even that is ridiculous. You can't say everybody on that stage is a moron. And when you say Donald Trump doesn't lie, that hurts your credibility.
You want me to tell you the two Democratic candidates that are not getting any publicity, or they're going to end up walking away, and they should actually be on the stage? Gabbard's awesome.
Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard's
Speaking of females, let's take a female caller. 257-5396. Let's go to Samantha. Samantha, what's going on? Thanks for calling in.
Hey, I have two things. Firstly, I was thinking that if you were talking about Kamala Harris and how she might be a better debater, and last week on the stage she was talking about the Constitution, like we'll just throw away the Constitution, and even Joe Biden said, was standing up for the Constitution.
Yeah.
And then secondly, as far as Donald Trump is concerned, we all have maybe if you're a one reason voter, for you it might have been, I totally respect, it's good for your show. For me, I would vote for him simply because of the economy in my 401k.
Right.
I don't care if he lies.
Donald Trump is affecting your life in a positive way. And that's what matters.
God.
Okay, well,
and that's how about 95% of the country is going to vote. Is because if Donald Trump is making their life, if Donald Trump is making their life better,
he changed compliance regulations.
He's saying stupid things. They don't
you
care.
Think 90? Excuse me.
Because
you
the good
just
outweighs
said
the bad in their mind.
You just said that you think 95% of the country is going to vote for Trump because of what he's doing for them. That's insane.
I'm saying a lot of people
those that are going to vote for 95% of the people who will vote for him.
They're going to vote because of that reason.
Okay, well, I don't know if I agree with that. I think people are going to vote for him because for any reason. It's not just that.
No.
You're making it like the economy is through the roof and everything fine and dandy. It's not.
It's
no, it's not. It's not.
It has dramatically improved.
Maybe for Samantha it is. Maybe for Pat Cassell it is. But it's not great for everybody.
50%.
The rich. Okay, well, let's see where it is in a year and a half.
Loaning again.
Right.
Okay. Now, it's not.
Businesses are buying health insurance across the country.
Under the Dodd-Frank Act, the banks wouldn't even loan you money.
If Warren got elected,
unless you had cash. You couldn't put real estate up and get money in return for it.
So in the last 3 years of the
Obama integrated the Dodd-Frank Act after the 2008 crash happened.
Samantha, in the last 3 years of the Obama administration, were you praising him at how he turned the economy around? Were you doing that?
No, absolutely not, because I
Why?
didn't see it.
What do you
It
mean?
wasn't there. It was
What do you
losing
mean?
money.
That's not true.
It was
That's
true.
not true.
Business was down.
You have to look at the statistics. You guys aren't being factually accurate. You guys aren't being factually accurate.
My bank account, my business
he took over a disaster under George W. Bush.
I will not give any praise to Bush.
Thank you for the call,
Bush
Samantha.
sucked.
Thanks for the call, Sam.
We agree. But I'm telling you right now, in the 8 years under Obama, my house was $1 million house sold for $400,000. $400,000.
All right,
Explain that to me.
Let's try to take some more phone calls on this. 257-5396. Let's go to Marge. Marge, what's going on?
What's up, Marge?
Hi. I didn't call about this, but I do have to agree with Pat. The insurance rates have stabilized because I happen to be in the industry as well.
Yeah, and I never denied that. I have
to agree, which is good. It's relief because initially when Obamacare happened, it was coming in very poorly. So
yep.
it's a good thing. I guess my question is, what about Elizabeth Warren, Brian? I mean, what are your thoughts on her? I have not heard that.
I didn't first of all, I find her to be very similar to Hillary Clinton in some ways. She doesn't resonate with me because I think she is phony. She just strikes me as being a phony politician. For example, the dissent that what was she, 0.0001%. She took advantage of that. She gloated about it, and then she had to apologize for it. It made her look dumb. Here's what I think she does, and I'm not just trying to single her out. I think at least 90% of politicians do what she does. She panders. She panders to try to get votes. I don't find her to be extremely genuine, and I think that is going to resonate with the American public, and I'm not sure she is capable of defeating Donald Trump. That's why.
She has no chance of defeating Donald Trump.
Yeah. I kind of view her almost as a female Trump in a way because that's pandering.
A wannabe female Trump.
And I just,
without the experience in business.
Yeah. And that whole thing about, when she claimed to be of a certain ethnic origin.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
That really, I think, put her in a very poor light.
That rubs you the wrong way.
That put me over the top, Marge, and I said to myself, I'm probably never going to vote for this woman, even if she's up against Donald. Marge, it's always good to hear from you. We appreciate the phone call. Thank you so much. 257-5396. Let's go to Joanna. Joanna, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. What's up?
What's up, Joanna?
Oh, hi. Thanks a lot. Kavanaugh. Justice Kavanaugh is being trashed by the Clintons, and the reason for that is because he worked with Kenneth Starr on the impeachment of President Clinton. And we know how the Clintons get rid of people with vendettas, and they work behind the scenes, and I will bet any money the Clintons are behind this from the very beginning when he was nominated.
So we're talking about Donald Trump, Joanna. We're talking about the comments he made last night in New Mexico. We're talking about who I would vote for president. I'm just trying to wonder why you would bring up Bill Clinton.
And all I want to know, Brian, is what odds would you put on that with her? She said she would bet you any amount of money. What's the wager?
Well, first of all, let me just go with what I'm going with here.
Like that. I'll book it.
Why would you bring up Bill Clinton?
Because of Hillary Clinton, and one of the reasons that I would never vote for Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton's not a politician. She's never going to run again.
She's giving you she's explaining to you why she didn't vote for Hillary the first time.
She's answering her question, but her answer isn't good enough for you.
So
anyway.
I didn't vote for Hillary either. It's got nothing to do with whether her answer is good enough for me. It's just off topic. We're not talking about Kavanaugh.
But the Kavanaugh thing, keep going, because that's a good topic right now.
Go ahead, Joanna.
Everybody's talking about Kavanaugh. Everybody else is talking about Kavanaugh, and nobody is bringing up the fact that the Clintons are behind this because he worked with Kenneth Starr.
All right. You know what? Since you brought up Kavanaugh, Joanna, I'll give you my opinion on Kavanaugh. I think he's a dirtbag. And the reason why I think he's a dirtbag is for this reason. Okay? For this reason. Okay. I think he is a typical white privileged, rich, wealthy, egomaniac, do whatever you want to do. And you know why I think that way? Hold on, let me finish. You know why I feel that way, Joanna? We had a guy named Fred Gutenberg on the show. Do you know who Fred Gutenberg is?
I know the name.
No.
Okay, well, he lost his daughter in the Parkland shooting, okay? He is a father who is still mourning, and I give this guy so much credit. He came on our show a few months ago. He is a big advocate of gun control, and why shouldn't he be? Because, there was a moment during the Kavanaugh hearing when they went to recess, and Kavanaugh took a look at this guy, Gutenberg. Gutenberg came over. He put out his hand. Hello, Mr. Kavanaugh. He gave the story. You know what Kavanaugh did? He looked the other way. He walked away from Gutenberg. During the recess, he told security to escort this guy out of the room. That is exactly what a scumbag does.
Why is he a scumbag, though?
I just gave you the answer
he's
right
standing
there. Shake the man's hand.
The allegations against him were brutal.
I'm not
wrong,
talking about the allegations.
That's why he was there.
Excuse me. I'm not talking about the allegations. I'm talking about there was a recess and Gutenberg was very respectful and wanted to shake the guy's hand.
Democratic ploy.
Excuse me. It was not.
It may not have been, but that's what he thought.
Security guards during the recess and had this guy removed. Gutenberg has made the rounds on every single television network.
How did he get in?
He got in because, the public was allowed to get in. They let him a certain amount of public watch that hearing. Gutenberg was allowed to shake the man's hand.
Who got him in there?
He never gave him an apology. He knew exactly who Gutenberg was.
Let's be selected him for a reason.
I am not going to guess who got him in. Joanna, not on top of that, but there are so many witnesses that knew this. Listen, we are not talking about a police officer. We're not talking about a radio host or somebody who works in a cubicle, all due respect to those jobs. We're talking about the Supreme Court. Okay? When you want to be on the Supreme Court and your days in college, all you did was drink and get wasted.
You don't know
that is such BS.
I don't know that. The guy just said that he drank beer throughout college. He said he didn't get blacked out, even though many witnesses that were even friends with Kavanaugh that defended him. That defended him during the sexual assault said that he got drunk all the time.
I can't hold it against him if he did get wasted and drink beer in college.
If it's the Supreme Court,
and he still graduated with honors, and he still went to graduate school.
Let's forget
about some people are just smart enough where they can still drink and they can still be successful academically. You can't hold that against them.
Let's forget about the drinking for a second, Joanna. What I just described, what he did to Fred Gutenberg, would you defend that?
I would not defend it, but I didn't see it, so I don't know about it.
Look it up on YouTube. There's video of it.
All of the garbage, all of the trash that the justice had thrown at him, his whole life is completely ruined, and not one single allegation. There's any proof.
What do you mean not one single allegation? He's had several allegations. What are you talking about? He's had several allegations. What do you mean not one allegation?
What's proven? What has been proven?
Well, according to you, it hasn't been proven. We don't know yes or no whether those sexual misconduct took place. We have someone else who says,
"Oh my God!"
What do you mean?
Dude,
oh my God!
There is no sexual misconduct. The person who's supposedly was involved.
You don't know that, Joanna. With all due respect, you don't know that.
That touched his
you
penis.
Don't know. You don't know whether it happened or not. There's nothing wrong with vetting somebody who wants to be on the Supreme Court.
Let me tell you right now, that chick from California was a liar.
We have to roll through some more calls. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. Then I got to go to break, so I'm going to give everybody about 30 seconds here. 257-5396. Our next caller is Alex. Alex, go.
Listen, real quick, you guys got me hungry between the beer talking and the Pete Buttigieg pizza thing.
His name is Buttigieg. His name is Buttigieg, by the way, in case you didn't know.
I want the pizza. But anyway, look, as far as Donald Trump, I think I agree with Brian, the Hispanic gentleman that called. I'm Hispanic and former Democrat. I think Donald Trump's just a knucklehead. He opens his mouth sometimes incorrectly, obviously. But I have to say something. Those comments that you keep repeating about him saying Mexico sends the rapists and the thieves and all that stuff, he was referring to illegal aliens. If you really watch the context,
if you are an illegal alien, the stats don't back up the fact that the majority of those people are rapists and horrible people.
MS-13 are the illegal aliens.
Look, what he's referring to is that nobody knows who any of those people that are coming in. We have no idea who they are.
Well, here's what we do know. We know that they have a less chance of committing a felony after they cross the border illegally than an American. That's what we do know. Yes, it is.
No, yes, it is. 2 weeks ago, you had 6 rapes in Maryland.
That's 6.
Listen, I'm Hispanic, and I live in a Hispanic area. And let me tell you something, a lot of more Hispanics are starting to realize what's going on here with the illegals coming in. A lot of them, unfortunately, their kids become gang members.
Yeah.
So this whole, and I live in the Hispanic area.
I understand.
That's totally the whole viewpoint about Hispanics coming in this country is totally different than it was from the.
All right. Well, listen,
70s.
Alex, I appreciate your perspective. I appreciate the phone call. I got to get to some other phone calls. Let's go to Joel. I believe Joel is next. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind? Thank you, Joel. 257-5396 is the number to call. Next caller, Eric. Eric, what's going on?
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
The guy that you're talking about that got snubbed by Kavanaugh, that was a complete setup, and you know it. He was dragged down
Why not
by
just,
the Democrats.
No, I don't know that. No, I don't know that. And
yes,
I've had
you do.
So you don't think you should have.
Why do Democrats have such convenient
First of all, I'm not a Democrat, so if you want to be factually accurate, you just
any more Democrats.
Oh, really? So you know my voting record? Why is that? You know my voting record? Tell me what my voting record is.
Get out of here.
No, you get out of here. No, you get out of here. I voted for Mitt Romney, and I would have voted for John McCain if not for that ditz Sarah Palin. So you have no idea what you're talking about. Why don't you get out of here? Have a nice day. You get out of here if you want to label me. Have a nice day, Eric, you right-wing buffoon. 257-5396 is the number to call. I believe Matt is our next caller. Matt, thank you for calling into the Vegas Take. What's on your mind? Quickly, please.
What's up, guys? I'll keep it quick. I got 2 points. One, your point about Elizabeth Warren. So, you're telling me that you would consider voting for Trump over Warren because she's the liar. And then number 2, Buttigieg.
I didn't say that. Where did I say I would vote for Trump over Warren? I'm not a big Warren supporter. I say that would be a very difficult decision for me. I didn't say I would vote for Trump over Warren. I said I would probably vote for Trump over Joe Biden.
I thought just a few minutes ago you said that you would vote for Trump over Warren.
I did not say that. No,
Fine.
sir.
Okay. Well, you shouldn't, because if you're comparing liars, I think the balance is
if we're
obvious.
talking about liars, I agree with you 150%. Trump is lies every day. I don't disagree.
And so if you're questioning her credibility based on the Native
It's not just that.
thing,
It's not just that. It's not just that, Matt. I didn't like it when she did that. I just don't think she resonates with the American people. I really don't. I'm not a big fan of hers. Listen, in retrospect, I would probably think that Elizabeth Warren would probably make a better president and is probably better for this country than Donald Trump. But I'm not saying I would vote for her. I just don't like her, Matt.
Understood.
Yeah.
Well, regarding Buttigieg, my other point is regarding Buttigieg. So we have, a lot of people, I hear a lot of people saying they like Buttigieg, but to me, you got to follow the money.
Yeah.
Where's he taking money from? Wall Street and lobbyists.
Yeah. That's a problem.
There's a reason why Sanders and Warren have sworn off Wall Street money.
And I applaud them for that. I applaud them for that, Matt. And you're right. And listen, I agree with you. As far as Pete Buttigieg goes, regardless of where he got his money from, I just respect the man. I think he's a good dude. I think we got to squeeze in one more quick call, then we'll go to break. Let's go to Brady. Brady, what's going on? Brady, are you there? Oh, we lost Brady. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Wow, that was a lively segment, that's for sure.
That was fun.
Yeah, Pat got real fired up.
I like it when Pat gets fired up.
I enjoyed
it's good
it as
radio.
well.
I like it when Pat gets
It's kind of hard to fire me up, but it happens sometimes.
So we got to take a break. When we come back, this is going to be a lot of fun. We also need John Schaefer to do the news for us. So we'll have John come in a few minutes here and do the news for us. And also, when we come back, I promise you folks, this is going to be very, very interesting. We all know what happened. Storm Area 51. It was canceled. Well, creator Matty Roberts and Frank DiMaggio are going to be joining us in studio next hour as well. We'll have John Schaefer join us with the news coming up next, too. We got Pat Cassell in studio. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDON.